Police are investigating after a 29-year-old man was killed and 2 others were injured in a drive-by shooting. At 11:01 p.m. on Friday the 22nd of September, authorities responded to 34 Westland Street in Hartford, Connecticut after receiving shot-spotter alerts of shots fired in the area. When officers arrived, they found 3 gunshot victims, one of whom was unresponsive in a vehicle. Police identified the unresponsive man as 29-year-old Denzel Bell. Medics transported Denzel to a local hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A woman in her 40s and a man in his 30s were also found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were taken to a local hospital with injuries that weren't life-threatening. Authorities believe they were struck by bullets fired from a passing vehicle and that they were not the intended targets. No arrests have been made to date, as the investigation into the matter continues. On Friday the 22nd of September 2023, 43-year-old Angela Brown was sentenced to 3 decades in prison in connection to the death of a 15-month-old daughter, Savannah Rose Brown, who overdosed on fentanyl in 2021. At around 3 p.m. on the 14th of October 2021, Savannah stopped breathing on the floor next to a bed while watching cartoons. Paramedics were called to the home in the 8300 block of Newfield Drive in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where they found the child unresponsive. She was transported to hospital where she was pronounced dead an hour later. Angela denied administering any drugs to Savannah other than over-the-counter pain medication or antibiotics prescribed by doctors. She said she gave her daughter amoxicillin for hand, foot and mouth disease and Tylenol for congestion and fever. She said she'd been able to quit a job and stay home full-time with Savannah after her father gave her $200,000. She said that she put Savannah down for a nap at the foot of her bed at around 11 a.m. that morning and they both fell asleep. She said that when she woke up at around 1:30 p.m, Savannah was still sleeping and breathing and she put a blanket over her before she went back to bed. At 3 p.m, she woke up and noticed her daughter wasn't moving or breathing and was cold to touch. Detectives found an empty pill capsule at the top of the bed where Angela had been resting as her daughter was dying on the floor. The capsule had been opened and emptied, but the 2 halves had been put back together. Angela said she would occasionally open Adderall capsules and sprinkle the contents on her own food. The drug is used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Investigators also noted where Angela slept with multiple layers of bedding. There were more than 40 burn marks, evidence that she smoked and passed out on the bed. An autopsy determined that the child died from a fentanyl overdose. A toxicology report also indicated the baby consumed amphetamines, methamphetamines and fentanyl. Investigators spoke with people who babysat Savannah in the past. He said the toddler would sometimes appear to be sedated after being in Angela's care. They said that Savannah's energy would improve dramatically after a few hours in their care. Investigators said that when Savannah was born, she spent the first few weeks of her life in the hospital's neonatal care unit because she was born with drug dependency. Her umbilical cord tested positive for oxycodone. Angela left the hospital with Savannah weeks after her birth, against medical advice to stay longer. Savannah was fed baby formula and not breast milk while in hospital, and Angela told police she continued to give her daughter baby formula after she brought her home. On the 19th of August 2021, 2 months prior to Savannah's death, Angela invited her friend 30-year-old Austin Neal to spend the night at her home. He was found dead in a garage the next day following a fentanyl overdose. When police interviewed Angela, they said they found old text messages from that man asking to buy pills from her. They said Angela messaged back offering to sell him perks, and he went over to her home. Angela denied selling any drugs to him. Officers said they found messages between her and several other people about buying and selling drugs. In June of 2022, Savannah's death was ruled a homicide and Angela was arrested the following month. In August of 2023, Angela pleaded guilty to 1 count of neglect of a dependent resulting in death. On Friday the 22nd of September 2023, Angela was sentenced to 30 years behind bars. A 39-year-old Ocala, Florida man is behind bars on multiple charges after soliciting a 13-year-old girl for sex. On Friday the 22nd of September, police arrested Jerry Aguilar after the victim's mother looked through her daughter's phone and discovered that Jerry had been sending inappropriate text messages to her and contacted the police. Police discovered that Jerry had been texting the victim for several weeks, with evidence suggesting he was grooming the child to be comfortable with him. With the cooperation of the victim and the mother, an Ocala police detective conducted an operation where Jerry was unaware he was communicating with a detective posing as the victim. Police said that during this exchange, Jerry made multiple sexual references, sent sexual explicit content, and solicited the victim to engage in sexual conduct, leading to his arrest. Authorities said that Jerry is a horse trainer and coach with children under his supervision. They're concerned there may be more victims and have urged any potential victims to come forward. Jury is charged with 3 counts of soliciting a child for sexual conduct via text messages and 10 counts of sending explicit material to a child. He's held at the Marin County Jail without bond. The investigation into the matter continues. Police are investigating after a 22-year-old man was fatally shot in a drive-by shooting. At 3:40 a.m. on Sunday the 24th of September, authorities responded to Dudley Drive and Southern Avenue in Shreveport, Louisiana on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived at the scene, they found a man in a critical condition suffering from gunshot wounds. He was transported to a local hospital, but died from his injuries at 4:08 a.m. The victim was identified through fingerprint analysis as Leviticus Washington. Police said that Leviticus was standing at the intersection when a dark-coloured vehicle drove by and someone inside started shooting. No arrests have been made to date, and the motive of the attack is unclear as the investigation into the matter continues.